Okay, my name is Robert Davalos. This is my research essay presentation for writing 122 with Miss Laura Falk. Hopefully this is the last time I have to do this presentation. I guess we'll find out. Um, Research question. Pretty simple, straightforward to the point. Should we legalize LSD and magic mushrooms? Um, Number two. Throughout this, uh, number two is my thesis statement. Um, I tried to make it as easily understandable as possible. I think I did a fairly good job at that. Uh, Pretty simple. Throughout this research paper, we will discuss both points of view regarding the legalization of LSD and magic mushrooms. Number three were major points. So there was multiple pros and cons to writing a paper this biased. A lot of it for me was definitely a little bit harder trying to find some of the biased opinions and stand by them. But some of the pros were advances in medical treatments as far as Tourette's and things like that go. Advances in mental treatments for depression and anxiety, um, as well as the economic boost to the economy. Um, Magic mushrooms and legalization of LSD would become a multi-billion-dollar industry, so it would definitely be a huge economic boost there, as well as lowering the crime rates. I mean, obviously, uh, if the substances are no longer illegal, we won't be charging people with these crimes, incarcerating these people, paying for their housing while incarcerated, and as well as the court costs associated with all of the legal process. Um, so it would definitely lower crime rates as well as incarceration rates. Um, some of the cons to this argument. A lot of people, think that these substances are just another way for people to get high. And then there's also that group of people that view these substances as very, very dangerous. Um, Number four, let's see. My best evidence from was from a case study article. The article was titled "Microdosing for Depression: Better Than Prozac, Better Than Tripping." Um, I like to use case studies as evidence for my arguments because obviously, if there was a case study, scientists somewhere got together, sat down, did a bunch of research and data, and put it all together in one nice, neat little place for you, and it definitely adds credibility as far as evidence goes. Um, Number five, toughest opposing argument would be that the substances are dangerous. And I don't mean that in the way it's really easy to invalidate the addiction rates and physical overdose concerns because they're pretty much non existent. You don't hear about people overdosing on LSD and magic mushrooms. You hear about them having bad trips. You don't hear about them ending up dead. And it's also easy to invalidate the addiction side of it being dangerous because they're non-addictive substances. And that's been proven time and time again. But what is hard to argue is the fact that these substances are dangerous in a way as people might just not know how to properly utilize them, and it might scare them or make them do something outside of their norm that they wouldn't normally do. For an example, a first-time user tripping on magic mushrooms or LSD might be inclined to get behind the wheel of a car, which obviously would be dangerous for himself and people around them. Or they could even have an accident and drown while swimming just because they're tripping. Um, Number 6, what was the most helpful source? I believe it was an article by Alex Dorr. It was titled "The History of Psilocybin Magic Mushroom Use Throughout the Ages." And I really like this article because it touched on the history of magic mushrooms, linking it all the way back to the ancient times with the Aztecs and the Incas. And then it brought everything full circle, and it talked about the current events regarding legalization, when the substances became illegal, and all of that good stuff. So it really brought everything full circle as far as the history of the research paper went. Um, Number 7, my view, if anything, since beginning writing this paper has not changed at all. If anything, it's been strengthened by the evidence I've found to support my claims. As far as the advances in medical treatment, and things of that nature. So I'd have to say I'm at this point I am all for legalization, and this paper definitely solidly helped to enforce that. Um, I mean, I think that's it. That's all I've got. So nice being in class with you guys. Hopefully, I don't see you back here next term. Um, and that's it for writing 122.